So, today we have another Hcalory heater in a toolbox. Right, I filmed this before and I'm now doing it again because of the popularity and the understanding of the other video that I did on using IEC mains sockets for low voltage 12 volts. And sadly, this heater again does the same thing. It has an IEC plug there that is supposed to be for 12 volts. Whether it be with a horrible adapter. Let go. So this is a mains powered unfused UK plug into an adapter that outputs 12 volts and 12 amps over an IEC plug. I had a very stupid comment from a very stupid person who said, well, they weren't entirely wrong. The IEC plug, I haven't seen it. The specification doesn't list it as being purely high voltage, which is correct. You can use it from any voltage, anywhere from 0 volts up to 250 volts. But it is widely considered to be a mains plug. That's why it's used in almost exclusively mains applications. Some folks said there's a few e-bike manufacturers that use it for plugging into charging the batteries, and they use an odd combination of live and neutral pins. That's still a terrible idea by itself. But this should not exist, that horrible thing. This thing should not exist either. This should never be DC at this end on 2 wires into an IEC at this end. That should never be a thing. This one does have a rating on it. No, this one doesn't. It just says neutral, live and earth. Now, I don't know of any DC systems that call the live and neutral, the positive and the negative polarized wires, live and neutral. But yeah, so this is one of those heaters that has an IEC plug for the 12 volts. So, the very first thing we're going to do is fix that problem. I purchased these from Amazon. There is males and females. And that is an XT60. Wait, XT60 EF. And these are panel mount sockets. That is the female variety that goes on your device, and that is the male bit that goes on your power thing, and they go together, and they can only go together one way, and they are designed for low voltage, high current. I suppose they can do high-ish voltage as well. You can do like, oh, that was a good noise. Oh, that sounded good. Let's do that again. Oh, that sounds like a good connection. So I'm going to remove this IEC plug, or maybe make another hole and put that in there and join that on the inside and join that on the outside. And that's what we're going to do first. Right, I'm going to get set up and then bring you back once we do that. Right, this is not a lesson in soldering of any way, shape or form. I am just seeing what I saw on the internet. Now, these do say on them positive and negative for which side's which somewhere. Very small, positive and negative. I've already put the the grey plastic end cap for that over the wires before we begin. Now, I'm now going to tin these wires, hopefully, as I do not actually have enough hands. A pair of helping hands would have been nice. Oh, what did I do with the good solder? Oh, it's over there. Hold on. Let's use the good, no! Ah! Fuck's sake. I don't have my helping hands soldered things in here with me. They're in the house. So, just gonna set them there, and ideally I would set something heavy on them. There we go. Something heavy. And we'll put a bit of solder. Is any of this in shot? No, not really. Hold on. There. That's a bit better. I'll dab a solder on here. Over there. I'm going to tin the ends of the wires. Like so. Right. And then I saw a man and he put solder. You lot, just sit down there a second. He took that and he put a bit of solder onto the inside of these to start with. Solder iron is trapped. I put a bit of solder in each of one of these. Lovely. And then negative. So the one nearest me is negative. I'll take that. And that. And we can heat the whole thing up. Hopefully. It's going. There it goes. That side set. Do the same with the other side. Assume we have enough hands. Going. Wants to spin round. Just need to get it hot enough. Need more. No. Lie still. Soldering tip's gone dry. Go. That's better. Yeah. Okay. Success. That is that end soldered on. So, there we go. That's that there. Nice tight, that won't pull off. And then we put our cover over the top. Should click into place. There we go, clicks into place. And now I've covered up the bits that said positive and negative. Well, hopefully the flat side is supposed to be positive. Yes, there we go. Positive, negative. And that would be flat side, positive, flat side, positive. That will go in that way. Like that. Yeah. What I should probably do is eventually put some hot glue down inside there just to prevent any cable movement or anything. But at least that now means that I've put that on the wrong end. That was very great. So I've now got, well, I've made another depth adapter. Wow, that was a very silly thing to do. What I've managed to do there is put it on the wrong end. So I was supposed to replace this end, and what I've done is replace the other end. No matter, I'll just cut the other end off and use that instead. It was just to show you that it is relatively easy to change the ends. You can, I think a pack of 10 of them, 10 of the two end things was like $12.99, and that makes it all nice and safe. So what we'll do is we'll just cut the other end off and use that instead. Anyway, that fixes that problem. Could have also put it on the end of the 12 volt. I mean, I still can. I've got a bag of adapters. Now, I'm going to stop the video here and I'm going to think about where to mount that little panel mount. Okay, not my finest work, but what I did basically was take one of these panel mount connectors, cut off the IEC plug that I've now lost, cut this off from there, throw that the fuck away, connected positive negative onto the correct terminals. I got a bit of scrap plastic I had lying about just to make a hole, because the IEC hole's slightly different. In hindsight, you could probably 3D print something that'll fit the actual hole itself, and you can make a mold and put the whole thing in. It'll be really nice and tidy, but I have just hot glued on that, and by hot glue I mean hot glue and a blowtorch, because I do not know where my hot glue gun has been. So I've got hot glue and a blowtorch, and that kind of works. And that means that is now stuck on there, and we can implement our nice, safe XT60 plug, and we can give it that, and then we can give it full 12 volts, and it still doesn't pull off, which is all it kind of pulls off. That's going to need a bit more hot glue. But for just now, it'll be absolutely fine. I'm sure all you beautiful people will be able to do a much better job of doing it properly with the correct tools. Right, now we have fixed the horrendous mains over, no, low voltage over mains plugs. Let's get back into the rest of the heater and see what it's actually like. Well, let's look at it, shall we, now that we've fixed its problems. It is a little toolbox. It is a very compact little toolbox. In fact, metal body, plastic top and bottom. Which side can I lean it on? This side. Underneath, I'm hopefully not going to pour diesel out the tank. There shouldn't be enough in it. On the bottom, we can see you have a air, we're going to call it a filter, an air filter on the intake, and the right angled 90 exhaust. Some people were saying another one about restrictions, but it's probably not going to be that big a deal of restriction, or you shouldn't have a hard 90, no, but it's not the end of the world. And yes, we do have the cheap plastic nylon, not nylon, the PVC green rubber tubing that could probably get changed out for something a bit better. Some of the other hard nylon stuff would have been preferred, but here we are. That is the cold air intake, slightly obstructed by wires, but that might have just been me when I was pulling the plugs about. And the other end is just your hot air outlet that you could put, you know, your venti thing on. Need a good Jubilee clip on that. But yeah, and on top here, right, let me turn it around so it turns that way. One side contains the remote control, and the other side contains the controller itself, which is just on a little tiny bit of wire. That's it. It's not like any of the other ones with a nice long wire on them. It's just that in there, and it might as well just stay in there. For it does have the Bluetooth app that you can control it via the Bluetooth, so you don't really need access to the controller that often. Now, inside, you have a nice little fuel tank integrated inside. I've even already got diesel inside it, ready for testing, because I've already filmed this before. And that is an absolutely bone stock Hcalory 4 kilowatt heater. Ta-da! Nothing exciting there. Absolutely standard top body temperature, normal Bluetooth ECU. It is actually affixed to the base, which is nice. Yeah, and I can move those wires. No, they're not really in the way of anything. Is the fan balanced in any way, shape or form? I do not see any balancing tangs on it, but that's not what we're here for, really, because it's a nice normal, you know, I say generic Hcalory 4 kilowatt here. It's lovely. Try and get this end cap back on. And it's in a nice compact. It's a lot smaller than the other, not a lot smaller than the other toolbox here, but it is a little bit smaller. The fuel pump is also down in there, and not, actually it's not really in an angle, and I don't really think, well, apart from clearing air out of the pump, it doesn't really hurt much. I know there's lots of people who think we now think that the pumps don't matter what fuel they're run on, because we've seen a gasoline petrol powered pump, diesel heater here that runs on the exact same pump as the diesel heaters, so lubrication of the pump doesn't seem to be that much an issue. Otherwise they wouldn't have used that pump, because otherwise they would have a lot of failures really quickly. I think it carries over from diesel injectors in diesel engines, which need the diesel themselves to lubricate, and if you put the wrong fuel in them, they die quickly. But as for these pumps, I'm not entirely sure it makes any difference whatsoever running the pump in it. Right, so let us therefore now, I think I'm still going to put it up on 4 little feet just to stop burning my bench. Well, I'll just give it four little things. And which way am I going to point it? I'm going to point it this way. I've got the power at this end. That means the exhaust is going to be here. I'm going to put a silencer on it. Here is my nominated silencer. Just got a bend in the moment. Don't need that many bends. Just straighten out a little bit. Put you on there. Turn around. Turn around. Set that over there. Now we can poke the DCI gas tester in it. Actually, that'll be fine. Right. And now we can plug our nice, safe DC connector into the nice, safe DC plug down here. That's going to point exhaust right where I don't want it. So let's just put a bit of an angle in. That's better. Right. Power on. Da, 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 da. Well, the controller lights up. That's a good start. Oh, there's a whole lot to see on the controller, especially when it's off. It doesn't do anything while it's off. I'm going to put you over there and I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to fire up once the first time here and show you it doing things. Can you see? Vaguely see the, let's zoom in harder, the remote control screen. There we go. So, power on. Start heating. Great, nothing's in focus now. Is it going to come back? Focus. No, that's really, really annoying. Ugh. Right, fine, I'm going to zoom out and bring you over. Well, I can hear the glow plug screaming. Well, not the glow plug, I can hear the MOSFETs screaming. I can see the current climbing on the current meter. It's ramping the glow plug power up on the remote control. We are set to maximum power. Obviously there's options for temperature. You either have set temperature or set power levels. We'll just go for set power maximum. And there's not much else in the menu for menuing. I can set the fuel tank and it just takes me straight back. I don't know which button combination you're supposed to press to get it to do anything. Like that was function 6. Can't get it to go and do anything else. I've turned the power down a little bit. Right, so set it to max power. Glow plug. Getting 100 odd, 110 watts or just under 9 amps. I'll let it fire up. It's got a diesel in it. What I'm going to do just now is therefore turn on the exhaust, not the exhaust, the gas monitor. Oh, there we go. Pump is pumping. While that fires up in the background, we shall set up the exhaust monitor, no, gas analyzer. So it's not quite up and running as yet. Okay, glow plug hit 110, no, 140 watts or 10 and a bit amps. It's now running. Just waiting for the glow plug to go off. Glow plug is off. Right, let us now start the pump and put the probe in the exhaust. I mean, that's not bad. In fact, that's pretty decent. Output air temperature is a good 6 degrees. Exhaust nice 270. Efficiency is nearly 90. Yeah, parts per million is coming down. No, that's good. That's good. Right now, if I could tell the microphone, oh, you can't tell it to stop being a microphone once you've started. All right, okay. Right, so maximum power. That's this. We're still running maximum. I'm gonna stop that one. Let's dig out the Bosch. Fire up the sound meter. Yeah, okay, 74 decibels. There's nothing exciting about that to write home about that one. Let's fire up Spectroid. Okay, that's full power. So let us take it back down to... No, not that one. Right, let's... Well, actually, while we're here, and maximum power, let's use the app, which is running at the moment. It's already connected, because, as I say, this is the second time I've done that. So we'll turn the heating down to 0. Alright, let's go level 1 heating. So let's let it take it down. Go back to TPI. Now we'll see the carbon monoxide go up briefly. Well, relatively briefly. Oh, the exhaust was getting hot there. Let's see what it is on low. So weirdly, it's now louder on low. I think it might be the thump of the fuel pump that we are hearing. Oh, that doesn't work, David. You need to record with the screen recorder, not using the microphone. You can actually see the whomp of the pump in this spectrograph. Wow, it's actually running really efficiently. Well, excess air is a little bit. We've got ever so slightly much. But it's running well on low. It's running really well. That's a good job. That's nice. Okay, now take my probe out of the exhaust. Sit it somewhere where I won't stick it to something else. Sit there. There is the app. We'll go to the app and we can tell the heater to turn off. Oh, you have to press and hold. Boop. And the heater's now gone into standby. Glow plugs on, etc, etc. Runs the fan until it's all nice and cool inside. I mean, here I am literally holding a thermal imager in my hand and not using it. So not a lot of heat bleeding out of the box. I mean, you can see there it's barely the cold side, 23, hot side, 30-ish. So it's ever so slightly warmer in this section where the heater is. Exhaust hot though. Can't tell if that's just reflection, is that? No, I think that bit might be slightly warmer than that bit. Yes, that bit's slightly warmer than that bit. Well, let me do a 24 versus 32, so maybe 10 degrees warmer. Exhaust is nice and hot. It's definitely hot. So is the air outlet vent. Yeah, so 67 degrees. That's what it was showing on the probe for the air outlet temperature. Made up there nice and warm as well. It is still running. It is still very slowly cooling itself down. It's not running on fast. The glow plug's off. It's been off. It only ran for maybe 30 seconds, and now it's just doing a very slow cool down. Well, I'll bring you back once it's actually cooled down. Well, other than using the IEC as a low voltage connector, that we fixed that problem with the XT60 connectors, the rest of the heater's actually pretty decent. Yeah, all I think I would probably change is the fuel pipe to be the nicer, rigider kind, and the little rubber fuel pipe doodads that connect together. Other than that, it's a nice little compact unit, and fuel tank's inside this time, because previously I had the other Hcalory one that was like a Pelican case, and it had the fuel tank on the outside, and my friend's got one as well, and he doesn't particularly like the fuel tank on the outside because you worry about kicking the connector off the fuel tank when it's on the outside. But like this is nice, and this could fit into a space in a van. If you're packing, you could pack. It's a nice square, you know, rectangle. It'll fit into a space without much effort. Sadly, no space to keep anything else inside. You could, if you wanted to still retain the IEC socket, and then maybe put a 240 to 12 volt 15 amp power supply, you might be able to squeeze one in under the fuel tank. There's a little bit of a gap down there. You might be able to squeeze one of them in there. But other than that, apart from the dodgy electric side that we have now fixed and we've made the heater safe, and maybe Hcalory should also do the same and make their heaters safe, it's a pretty good little toolbox here. I can see that being handy, going away places. What they should make now is make a stackable version where you can have the toolbox down here and then have it stackable for a portable power supply to go on the top, and then you've got an all-in-one heater come power supply. Just a thought, just putting it out there if anybody wants to 3D print something that would sit at the top here and then take any one of the variety of power stations. Just a thought, that would be a nice little thing. You could just run your little 12 volt plug down to there, and hopefully, fingers crossed, with good wiring. I know it's, when we were testing it, we're pulling nearly 12 amps, but I'm using a rather long length of cable here to run it, so it might be fine on a nice little short length. Even better, use one of the power supplies that's got the output as an XT60, and you can just connect XT60 to XT60. That would be fantastic. Any questions, comments, anything like that, leave them down below. I'll try my very best to answer them. And as always, thanks for watching.